What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel. Giving a shout out to the rest of the crew: Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right. That's right. For everyone who's tuning in, we always thank you for supporting Behind the Bench and subscribing to the channel, helping to make this show the best that it can be. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. I'm gonna get right to it, man. At first, I wasn't going to do it. At first, I wasn't going to do it. I'm trying to get ready for football, college football, NFL. Baseball is down the home stretch. As they say, the dog days of summer, right? So I'm in tune with the anticipation of football and baseball. And I'm telling you, man, it's like you cannot run away from it, man. No matter what you do, no matter what steps you try to take, you're going to run into chaos, man. And like I said, man, this is why I want to know parts of this. I want to know parts of it. I wanted no parts of it. I'm putting that out there, man. I want to know parts of this experience, man. This has been boring. In a lot of ways, it's been depressing because you know how this is going to roll. You know when the snare's going to hit. You know when the bottom going to fall out. And you know how this is going to end up. And essentially, like I say, the players, front office, talking heads, nobody wants to get to the heart of the matter, man. Nobody, because they thought when it started, man, they thought this team was going to rack off about 2-3 straight championships. Actually, I'm going to say 3 straight. That's what they thought. But the reality is, the facts stand that essentially the storied all-time sports franchise, the most successful sports franchise of the modern era, since 1980, let's put it that way, since 1980, they've won 10 championships in 30 years. Well, from 1980 to 2010, they won 10 championships in 30 years. That's an average of a championship every 3 seasons. No other sports franchise and no other, whether it's the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, no other franchise can claim that, man. And it's all for naught. It's all being casted away. It's all sinking down the proverbial ship, a la the iceberg is hit. The iceberg basically hit 6 years ago. And essentially, the Los Angeles Lakers traded a decade of true Laker basketball prowess essentially for 82 games, which really turned out to be 71 games because of the unfortunate occurrence of the pandemic, the COVID, that inflicted us on the global scale. And it's mind-boggling when you can literally see the ramifications of taking this route. You can see it. You can see it. And when all else fails, the GM of this franchise, of this organization, Rob Pelinka, and the owner of this franchise, of this organization, Jeannie Buss, they're going to take all the heat. All the stones will be thrown at their direction. And they're going to be left holding the bag when this is all said and done. And the eye of the hurricane that's causing all this chaos, he will wind up getting a pass. So briefly, I want to talk about Dwight Howard. During the 2019-2020 season, this is just a little recap here. Just a little recap. And I have nothing against Dwight Howard, man. You know, when he was in his prime in Orlando, he was the best center in the world. He was a top 5 player in the NBA. When he led his team, the Orlando Magic, to the NBA Finals. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. I believe he won. He's a 4-time rebounding champion. And when he was at the top of his game, he was giving you 20 and giving you about 13 rebounds and about 3+ blocks per game. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. When they signed him going into the 1920 season, he was not their primary choice. They signed DeMarcus Cousins that offseason because he showed that he was starting to recover from that Achilles. After playing the previous season in Golden State with the Warriors. And he stood out during those finals versus the Toronto Raptors, who went on to win their first championship by defeating Golden State. And the 2 games that Golden State won, he was the reason behind it. So therefore, the Lakers sought him out. They signed him. And unfortunately, he was playing basketball outdoors, and he injured his ACL, and he missed a whole year. And only then did they seek Dwight Howard to sign as an alternative. Right? There's a lot of exaggeration that's been taking place since all this started. Dwight Howard's career, his production continuously declined over time. When he was traded to the Lakers back in 2012, you can just tell that he wasn't going to remain there beyond that 1 year. And afterwards, he went on to sign with the Houston Rockets. And he went from averaging, and I know he had the back injury and the surgery. I realize that. But his game regressed, particularly on offense. So he went from averaging 20, 22 a game to 18 a game. Then it just steadily declined. 16 a game, 15 a game. He had a little boost in Charlotte. He played with Charlotte Hornets. Then he played with the Atlanta Hawks. Then he played with the Washington. If I'm not mistaken, I think he played 1 year in Washington with the Wizards. So when the Lakers signed Dwight Howard, he was already 34, 35 years old, about 34. And he was not the same player. And he was assigned as the starting center, but he only averaged about 17 minutes a game. See, what I'm trying to say is, this is about a short-term venture as you're going to get. This is supposed to be the all-time win now scenario, but they're not winning. And it's because of what they gave up. I can elaborate. I can break it down over a 5 to 6 hour period if I really wanted to do that. But nonetheless, he averaged about 7.5 points a game that year. And he shared time with JaVale McGee and then Anthony Davis doing his first year with the Lakers, playing the 5 spot. So Howard was a declining player, but he didn't have to provide maximum output on this team because essentially they stacked the deck. It was a pseudo super team. Let's be real about it. It was a pseudo super team because they had Rajon Rondo coming off the bench. One of the best point guards of his era. In his prime, he was arguably the best pure playmaker at that position outside of Chris Paul. Outside of Chris Paul, it was Rajon Rondo. It was a pseudo super team. And after that season concluded, that guy, let's just say the eye of the hurricane, he was looking to upgrade that position because he knew Howard wasn't gonna hold up. And he wanted floor spacing at the 5, so Uh, they wind up trading JaVale McGee, who supposedly helped this team win. But see, at this point, it didn't even matter. Loyalty is not even part of this equation over these past 6 years. I'm talking about just in the grand scheme of things. Loyalty means nothing. It's a revolving door. Players in and out. Patrick Beverley was traded to the Lakers. He lasted 5 months, and he's been on 4 different teams. Now he's playing overseas in Israel. Tell me, God dang it, man. But they traded JaVale McGee to create cap space to sign Marc Gasol to be Dwight Howard's replacement, ultimately as far as a starter, playing starters minutes. And Dwight Howard went on to sign with Philadelphia. 76ers to be the backup of Joel Embiid. He plays there 1 year, and then he re-signs with the Lakers. So for his third run, there was no complaint about the front office then when he returned back. It was no complaint then. And he aged, and it showed. And by mid-season, he was essentially let go. He wasn't getting any minutes. They was playing DeAndre Jordan. Some games, Carmelo Anthony was starting at the 5 until he pulled his hamstring and missed the rest of the season, for the last month of the season and whatnot. AD was playing center at the time until he got hurt. The eye of the hurricane, he started some games at 5 when they played teams that didn't really have no center, were playing small ball. And Dwight Howard has not been in the NBA since. And this is I'm just bringing factual information. This ain't about, like I said, man, Dwight Howard in his prime, he was the best center in the world. He was a top 5 player. Top 5 player. He beat the eye of the hurricane in the playoffs in 2009 during the Eastern Conference Finals to advance to the NBA championship round. But that was back in 2009. So out of nowhere, it actually he has been crapping on the front office really since the season ended. This past season ended. During the summer months, he's been crapping on the front office continuously. And here you go again. After we won, they started tweaking the roster. I'm going to tell you who it was. Rob Pelinka. Man, God, Rob, why did you do that to us? Man, Rob, come on, man. Even if we ran it back, we could have run it back. It got me confused. We would have been healthier for the next year. So what he's saying is, the team was the oldest team in the league during the 1920 season that culminated in that bubble. That's why the eye of the hurricane and just the nature of how the team was constructed, which is a byproduct of mortgaging off your real players, draft picks, your future, just the whole shebang, you mortgage that off for 82 games. And this is what a lot of fans, ex-players, current players, the front office, the talking heads cannot wrap around. They cannot, how can I say, really come to terms with what has happened to this franchise. So the convenient route to take response is the crap on Rob Pelinka when he's done everything that these players wanted him to do. Everything. And see, that's the mistake. You're not supposed to capitulate to players on a whim. The only players that you really supposed to be, that you consider, are players who have been part of your franchise for a very, very, very long time. A la Kobe Bryant, a la Tim Duncan, a la Dirk Nowitzki, a la Giannis, a la Jokic. You want to go back to the past? A la Michael Jordan, a la Larry Bird, a la Magic Johnson, a la Dr. J. Players who establish themselves with your franchise and help you be successful a very long time. Those are the players who deserve to be consulted when a move is considered. But the revolving door players, they come and go. See, and when the Lakers signed Carmelo Anthony during the 21-22 season, when they created that, I call it the let's just say the super duper squad, 5 top 75 all greatest players on the team. DeAndre Jordan, I believe he won the rebounding title twice, if I'm not mistaken. So you had Dwight Howard, 4-time rebounding champion. DeAndre Jordan, 2-time rebounding champion. Then you brought in Westbrook, who's the all-time leader in triple doubles, former league MVP during the 2016-2017 season. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Westbrook lead the league in scoring twice? You had all that, and you cranked out 33 wins. 2 less than the young core-driven Lakers of 2018 that gave you 150% every night. That just showed you the nature. That right there, that season literally showed you what you gave up as a franchise. So Dwight Howard has not been in the NBA since that 22 season when he returned back to the Lakers. So why is he crapping on the front office? This is why I want to know part of this. The young core, the Julius Randles, the Brandon Ingrams, the Josh Harts, the Kyle Kuzmas, the Lonzo Balls, the Ivica Zubats, the Jordan Clarksons, the Larry Nance Jr.'s, the Zavi McKileys, the Thomas Bryant. See, I still remember all their names. I will never forget those players, man. I'm going to never, ever forget those players and their names. Never. I already know it. Alex Caruso's, they give you 150%. They didn't crap on the front office. They believed in the front office. See? And that's why they gave 150%. They didn't feel entitled. They wanted to be Lakers. But this is what happens when you sell yourself short. This is what happens. You're going to get crapped on, man. Rob Pelinka is catching heat from every corner of the earth. Not because the fan support stretches outside of the United States. He's catching heat from every corner of planet Earth. The most vilified executive on the planet. And I'm not just referring to sports either. He's the most vilified, criticized, scapegoated, used and abused executive on planet Earth. Period. After we won, they started tweaking the roster. No, they didn't tweak it. They overhauled it because the front office knew and the I Hurricane knew that team wasn't going to hold up. They was already the oldest team in the league. So even Dwight Howard concedes that they would not have repeated the next year because of age and high probability of injuries, and just the structure of the team. So we'll just chalk off a year and then come back next year healthy. That's not how this works, man. That attitude leads to losing. But here we go again. And I just want to make it known. This is why I wanted no parts of this. It has been all time toxic. But I will talk about this down the road. I just want to drop this real quick. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.